Taxation of pensions income. So if you're flexibly accessing your pension either via a UFPLS or a Flexi Access drawdown, then if you can't supply the provider with a tax code, then the provider will assume week one, month one tax position, which in effect gives a 1/12 of a personal allowance, a 1/12 of each of the tax bands, which means generally that someone will probably overpay tax on their lump sum or pension income in that first instalment. The tax system assumes that if you're getting that money paid on month one, you're going to get the same paid for the remaining months of the year. And if that was the case, then the tax position would be correct. However, if it's a random or an irregular lump sum, then you are likely to overpay tax in that first instalment. What can you do about it? Well, you can either wait until the year's out and it will sort itself out in the wash. The revenue will sort out tax codings at the end of the tax year, and then either be a reclaim, a refund, or tax coding will be adjusted for the following year. If you can't wait that long, if it's a few months to go and the client wants the money in their pocket sooner, then you can complete one of the revenue's tax forms. There are 4 tax forms depending on the client's situation, and they're all on the HMRC.gov website. Use form P55 if you have flexibly accessed your pension fund and you haven't extinguished a fund. So you've taken a one-off lump sum, but the fund isn't completely crystallised. So you've only taken, say, £10,000 out of a £100,000 pot. P55. Next form, P53. This is the form you would use if you've either taken triviality with a DB scheme or you've taken a lump sum from a small pension. So use P53. Form P50Z if you've flexibly accessed your fund, you've extinguished that fund, and you have no other income or you've ceased employment, so you have no other earnings assumed for that year. And finally, P53Z if you have extinguished your fund but you are still working or still in receipt of benefits. There's 4 different types of form depending on the situation of the client. The revenue will typically take a couple of weeks to turn the refund around, and in the last quarter the revenue have refunded about £22 million worth of tax repayments on pensions, so they're quite used to the process. So if the client needs the money sooner rather than later, then at the same time that you're completing the paperwork for the scheme to have the money released from the scheme, then I suggest completing the revenue form at the same time.